kind of music is that?
So here's the deal. I have to go to the YouTube audio library. I have to pick one that's, royalty free and not copyrighted claimed and all that other kind of jazz. And the first one I picked, I typed in coffee. One result came back and it was brown chicken, brown cow. So I said, Mrs. Tio, come in and tell me what you think of this. And she's like, wow, really?
She did?
This is like 10,000 times better.
Yeah, this wing is.
Is that attribution free?
It is. This is YouTube's music.
Doesn't mean it's
Scream coffee
attribution
shop?
free.
It's coming out of the StreamYard's music.
Right.
StreamYard music?
Yeah, there's StreamYard music now. Does it say coffee shop?
No, it doesn't say coffee shop. I don't know how to make it stop.
You have to click it again. There you go. It's like playing cards with my brother's
My
kids.
brother's kids, yeah.
It
I didn't
really
know that
is.
they
and
had
he loves that term.
You can introduce our guest, Jim Slacker.
You go ahead.
So tonight we have Kevin, K7SW. Kevin has a fantastic YouTube channel. There should be a link in the description down
I
below.
was trying to think of Kevin's last name. That's why I threw it to you. I'm like,
I don't know Kevin's last name either. His last name is K7SW, right, Kevin? How are you,
Okay.
Kevin?
There you go. Well, thanks, guys. It's great to be with you tonight. This is pretty fun.
Thanks
Yeah.
for being here. Appreciate it.
So,
I'm
I've been
dropping
watching
a
your
link
channel for a
in the
while.
chat.
You do like Jeep stuff, and you do RV stuff, and you do travel stuff, and you do Parks on the Air stuff, and of course you do ham radio stuff. And it's just that extra level of polish that we haven't really been able to achieve. So we actually brought you on here to give us some schooling and teach us how to do videos.
wow, here we go.
School
You
is
better
in
know
session.
good.
And
It's my job. It's my job. Gotta have him come back again.
Right.
I see Chuck. It looks like he does a lot of camping, RV camping, right? Do any of you guys do that?
I do.
I'm in the camper now.
Yeah,
It looks like your kitchen, though.
No.
I do a lot of
Actually, the
I do some
bathroom.
actual
The kitchen's
off-roading
over
too.
there.
My audio must be off.
Nope, I hear you.
No, your audio's not off. We just weren't talking to you.
I notice you guys always talk over me
Tough crowd.
every time. Sometimes I just shut up.
Chuck, are your feelings hurt?
No,
I think we
But
know.
yeah, Chuck,
good.
you just got back from a trip, right?
I just got back from the races. Hey, you know what the races? I made like 6 DX contacts at like 11 p.m. at night on 20 meter, all over the world, man. It was pretty awesome. I was using the 705, but I was pumping out 100 watts. So 100 watts, and then I was using the Mercury antenna on 20. I had it set up kind of leaning against the chain link fence, and it didn't like 40. It made 40 like an extra 5 feet longer. Unfortunately,
What's this
It was too-
Mercury
it was too
antenna you
close.
speak of?
That was our link dipole. You know that, man. That thing.
I didn't want to ask.
Oh, you didn't want to ask? So it's one of our antennas that we sell.
Yeah.
Kevin. It's the link. It's really good. I mean, I was impressed, and I was getting 5.5s and 5.7s back from guys, but they were all running at least a hex beam or better. One of the guys had a hex beam. There's one guy in the islands. It took me a couple calls to get him, but most of the other ones I broke right in. A couple calls and I was in. So it's pretty.
You
cool.
had it set up as a inverted V, which I like doing with dipoles too, because it gives it more of an omnidirectional.
Yeah, you know what I had to
pattern.
do is I was going to use the Kraken, but being about 63, 64 feet, I couldn't get the distance. I would have been out in the parking lot with it, and I didn't think it'd last too long out there being run over. So the dipole.
Why would it put you in the parking lot?
Because I was going to run it front to back on my motorhome.
Okay.
Because I was trying
So
to get
tell the folks at home what the Kraken is, because I don't think anybody knows but you and me.
Yeah, loose
well,
the Kraken,
the
Chuck.
Kraken is it's a lot like the Artemis, except that it's got a 240.
I think I have one sitting here.
It's got a 240 tour rate on it, and it will do in excess of 100 watts probably of digital.
Give me a second.
Oh my
It'll
god.
probably do about 500 watts, I think, on SSB.
2 words. Show prep. Show prep.
So
Speaking of show prep, how's your subscriber count and watch hours? How's that YouTube jail thing going, Jim?
That YouTube jail thing is getting close to the end. I'm pushing 900.
well, it's never at the end.
Nice.
I am pushing 900, and the watch hours, there's about 879 subs and about 200 hours or less to go.
Nice.
Congratulations.
I think we got 2 weeks left.
Free at last. Free at last. That's right.
All right.
Holy
so
moly.
This is the original Artemis.
Prototype.
Yeah, the original prototype of the Artemis.
Yeah, that was the small one. Yeah.
And then, so when we started talking with Chuck, this is the Kraken, but I think that this was one of the prototypes where this was a little bigger, right? The shroud that we have on there. So here's
We're
the
going to
size
shrink it
difference
down. Yeah.
on these two things.
Yeah, I don't have mine in the house.
So it's a big boy.
So now
Yeah,
the
it was our
Kraken is a dipole.
It's a infed half wave.
It
Okay.
could be anything though.
Yeah, it's a platform just like the Apollo, right? So we could there's tons of stuff that you can do with it. So.
The Apollo's not out yet.
You guys didn't hear
Soon.
nothing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that should be even listed.
We
Look
haven't
into
put
the
it out
light.
yet.
Look into the light.
I think the
Flash.
description's out there.
Is it? Okay.
So anyhow, we were talking about link dipoles. I noticed Kevin's got some videos on link dipoles, as well as you have an inverted V video, right?
A number of different ones, yes, sir.
So I don't know. I wanted you so you can get some airtime here because we're all running our yaps. Everybody, go give him a check on his channel, and then why don't you tell us what you found when you're making those videos on those. You can combine them, talk about one, talk about the other, whatever you want.
Oh,
Sorry,
very
it's
good.
all up to you.
Well, it's interesting. You guys know this as creators. Making a video is a lot different than just going out and operating. Because operating,
it
you
is.
just get to run it. And I'm slowly learning how to share with other people. There are so many hams that want to make. I know this is blah blah blah, right? They want to learn how to make antennas and put antennas up in the air. And so I think by sharing this with others, and you guys know this, it just helps so many guys do it. You think it's simple, but until you do it, you don't know.
Right.
So I would say my favorite antennas are probably single band antennas, whether it's a link dipole, a vertical, or just a dipole by itself. Link dipole's fun. I use that on summits on the air because it's super lightweight. I think I have one that's like 26 gauge wire.
Oh, wow.
And I use it for 20 and 40. Well, an inverted V configuration is easy because if you're on top of a mountain where it's just rocks, right, you only need one pole. And you're dialed in. So that's probably my favorite. Multi-band antennas are good. They serve a purpose, but that's usually when you're at camp and you've got a few beers going and you don't want to go jack with the antenna. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
A few beers and or drinks or whatever, and moving your extendable pole up and down probably isn't the best thing you could do because it could be a disaster. The reason I set the link dipole up the other day is I had more room side to side. Actually, we had 3 campsites side by side, so I had just enough room to set it up. I watched your video on the infed mount idea, antenna SWR check, and that was the trail friendly.
The MCOM 3, maybe? Was it out in the desert?
No, it was you were at the soccer field.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's a trail friendly
With the grandkids.
The para NFED?
Yeah.
That's right.
Now was that a 9-to-1?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
I was looking at your
memory
SWR and it's like, well, it's tunable, but it wasn't. I mean, it was like 2-to-1, 3-to-1. Okay.
Yeah, and for those of you guys that you do any kind of an NFED antenna, you know that every setup is going to be different, and there's never that perfect where they're all dialed in. However, I've been using the MCOM, the LEFS 8010, and I've got it in a few configurations, and I have a video coming for that where I want to show multiple places so you know where it sucks here and it's really good over there. Kind of like when you're on a 2-meter radio. I jump around a lot. Sorry, I get all excited and I can't stop talking about ham radio.
You must
Right?
watch this show a whole lot. The squirrels run by frequently, Kevin. No worries, man.
But if you're on 2 meters and you step 2 feet, sometimes you'll get a signal where there was nothing before. And I find that out when I'm out camping a lot. So, so back to that antenna. Go ahead, Chuck.
Well, did you ever try putting it like about a 6 to 12 inches off the ground?
I
don't
haven't
think
yet.
you did in that one.
I haven't yet.
But I wasn't sure which antenna. I thought it was a 9-to-1 because of the SWRs you were getting. But you should try that too. I find that the infed half waves, I mean, a couple inches off the ground, they seem to work really well. I don't know if you found that too, Ape. I think you have.
Yeah, well,
SWR
I usually keep the transformer as low to the ground as reasonably possible. Like I don't want it too low, but so like the infed half wave that I have that is like my all-the-time antenna that I always run. That's probably 2.5 feet off of the ground. It's on a fence post, and then the aerial comes off of that. And I just brought this inside yesterday. So here's that 9-to-1 that I made for the YouTubers Hamfest. I don't know if it was part 2 or part 3 or whatever, but and I just had this thing sitting on the ground. I mean, literally sitting on the ground, and then I had my Gigaparts mast. So I had I want to say it's 53 feet. It could be 50, whatever the right 50 number is. A wire going up to the mast, and then a 17-foot counterpoise running across the ground in the other direction. And
The right random number of wire.
yeah, the specific
non-random
number
random
of
The non-random.
right. But so I have that, and the SWR is low. It's below 1 to 5. I think starting at 20 and higher. For 30 and 40, I have to. I think 47 to 1. So I have to use a tuner on that. I can't remember exactly. No, it can't be 7 to 1 because I was using the internal 3 to 1 tuner. Yeah. It doesn't matter. The SWR changed drastically depending upon how high you have this, the length of the counterpoise, direction of the counterpoise in relation to the main antenna, and then obviously the length of the main antenna itself. So.
And doesn't
You actually had that one resonant without a tuner on a couple of bands, right?
Yeah, so I'm saying like it was probably like 1.2 112 meters.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
And I think it's like 1.3
actually
or
really
1.4, 117. So I was using that with the Lab 599, and
9.
I was hoping it would be resonant on 40. So I have a 9-to-1 with a 35-foot wire, and it's 1-to-1 on 40. It's just crazy how that works.
So 9-to-1s are
is.
not supposed to be resonant. They just happen to be very tunable, tuner friendly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could make anything resonant if you try hard enough, but they're not, like, by design, 9-to-1s are not supposed to be resonant.
Right.
And I think, Kevin, you hung that one, the actual box up in the air too, right? If I remember right.
And
Cause,
that little trail friendly one, the little small one.
Yeah. I mean, that
Yeah.
one you can because it's not real heavy. I know that the MCOM people they have one that they want to put up high, but it just, to me, it's like for an infed half wave. That's really weird because it's just, I mean, you do use an infed half wave. I use it so I don't have to use so much coax for one,
Well,
and then or weight down your mast, because you talked about mast, how putting up stuff on the mast and you use lightweight mast that's not very good.
Right.
I think that was in that same
for
video.
summits on the air, definitely those thin masts. They're the 10 Cara fishing mast. They're super lightweight, so they can't even. I think Steve uses this RG174. It's really great coax for stuff like that because it's so lightweight. You can just wrap that thing around the mast going down, and that'll
just
keep
did some
it from falling. Now the RV is different.
Oh yeah.
That you can put a lot of weight.
I saw when you did the dipole video with one of these.
Yeah.
And
Those
so
are awesome.
Yeah, so if you do have to put it on those thin ass masts, that's where they start to get to be a good idea. Because it's so lightweight, those things can really do a bend over on you.
Swear jar.
Yeah.
Not on this channel. I mean, I'm dialing it back for y'all, so whatever.
He is.
It's not like I'm going to get demonetized. Just saying. So, can we talk about something besides antennas? Kind of. Because Chuck will go all night about antennas.
No.
Kevin, how's your scope?
Oh, you want to talk about scopes, don't you?
No,
Give us
we're gonna
scope,
talk about
Kevin.
Scopes.
You're right.
We're going to talk about how to do D-Star on that expensive baby radio you have. Oh, I said it.
Oh, my
I said
baby
it.
radio? He doesn't. Kevin does. Kevin's got a KX2. He's got a
I
real
meant your
705
705, Charles. I was
Yikes.
teasing you.
I know
I'm
you.
not messing with Kevin. He's the guest.
No, I know.
Right.
I saw
We have to wait
you
to
did
talk
an
about
antenna
KX2s.
launcher video. How did
Who
you?
did?
I did not get to see that one yet. But what kind of antenna launcher setup did you have? On your
Yeah, I need
video?
to do another video about that. And I've got one for this. Remember POTA weekend? What was it last weekend? The weekend before?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
last
so.
My wife and I went up there and we did the
Weekend before
arborist
last.
weight thing, and then I ended up with the launcher because that's like the only way. So I don't remember the guy's call sign there, Jim. It was a guy from Texas, and he made this out of different pipe fittings and sprinkler parts. And it was simple, right? And then
Okay.
I put like 40 pounds of pressure, and you can go over 100-foot tree with that thing. And it's
That's nice.
literally like using a rifle. You aim it, and it just goes right where you told it to.
got-
So it's like
I got
a tater gun
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
launcher thing. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Except
I've
it
seen
probably
those. I
uses
haven't-
compressed air.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Well, if you're a real man, you'd use propane and fire. But
You
whatever.
start starting fluid
Aquanet.
is the way to do it.
Ether. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, a little bit
Ooh,
of
you
ether, a
start
little bit of
fluid.
gasoline.
We used
You
to
get
use
like
ether
about a
in the
6-foot
potato
flame
guns.
out there.
Oh yeah.
We used to make cannons out of soda cans and lighter fluid and shoot tennis
Yeah,
balls
like a
at each other.
Zippo lighter
We
fluid.
had a
Yes.
guy out in the
Exactly.
desert that made a potato gun, but it was for shooting bowling balls. They'd
That's
shoot
a
the
man-
bowling
that's
ball
a man's
out,
man right there.
and
I
then
shot
they
one
go
that
out, they
did-
take their quads, go out and find the bowling ball and reshoot it.
If they
I
were
did
real
one
men,
that
they'd
shot
take their
pumpkins.
quads out there and try not to get hit by the flying bowling balls. Just
This,
Oh, I gotta
this
hit
guy
my
built this
potato.
giant
Channel.
pumpkin cannon. It was like 30 feet long, and he had like an old Buick and an old boat and stuff like that sitting out in his field. And we would just sit there and blast like 8-inch pumpkins out of the thing. It was the best ever.
Nice.
Was
There's a
alcohol
YouTube
factor?
channel called The Essential
Yes.
Craftsman that I watch sometimes, and Scott likes to launch anvils with black powder into the
Holy
sky.
crap!
Yeah, anvil. Like it's not really that big of a deal going up. It's the going down part that everybody's
Right.
got to run like hell for.
Because I think an anvil's like what 30, 50 pounds. I don't know.
They vary.
Yeah, it depends on which size you get.
Wow.
Like everything, size
What's
matters.
your favorite? What's your favorite POTA radio? Yeah, I know you got a Kenwood. That thing's cool.
Yeah, so the KX2 is really good, but then when I started doing POTA, I realized you need more power because it's not like soda where you're way up on top of the mountain. So I had to dust off and bring out my 857. Then I had a problem. I had to
Nice.
fix something in it, and it works. You know, is it the end of all end? No, but it's fun. It still does its thing.
I like my A57.
It does it. So with a I think it's a eco-worthy battery. It's a 20 amp hour. Man, that thing
Yeah.
rocks. And you can just crank that thing up.
That's 100,
So-
and that's 100-watt radio, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, 50. If you want to last, I guess you got to do 50 watts. Otherwise, you'll be draining that thing pretty quick.
Barefoot or get out.
Right,
Right.
there you go.
That's right.
James, you have one of these things, right?
I do.
Is there a
Battery
way? Yeah, is there a way that I can computerify this and get data out of this and make it, and then like put it into Excel or something? You know how I love Excel. So
yeah. I know how to tie a room together with a rug too.
it's got plugs all over this thing, but
You-
I don't see one that says computer.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know if you have a decent meter, you could hook the meter up to it, and the meter does the data capture, and then you can just pull the data capture into Excel out of the meter.
Not a bad idea.
I know.
I'm actually quite shocked that you thought of that, but
My O1 XEM 1041 does that. Shameless
That's-
plug.
I'll have to see what I can do with that because I want to do
Are
something
you sure it doesn't have a
scientific.
data port? I thought it had a USB on it.
It's got like 3 USBs, right? It's got a whole mess of them down here. It's got one up here.
Well, plug one in
It's
your
got one up
computer, and
here.
if smoke comes out, it's not data, and if it doesn't come out, it is data.
We'll see.
So don't you have a Kenwood also? 200
Oh,
water?
Yeah, for me, the TS 480, not the
There you
HX.
go.
That's the smaller one, right? So the 200 watts is really awesome. I took that to the desert once and hooked up the solar panel to the battery, and I could go, man, go. It's just big, and if
Yeah.
you can. One thing with soda, you learn to scale down. And a buddy of mine who's
Oh, I
the
bet
area
you do.
manager for Summits on the Air, he taught me some really cool stuff on how to make everything smaller. That's why it's fun to learn from other hams. Well,
hmm
POTA's the opposite. It's like it's so easy to get out of control and make a big station. Like you said, that antenna's going across the parking lot. Well, that's
Yeah.
cool too.
Which radio was it again?
The
It's the
TS 480.
You pulling
HX.
that up there?
480.
200
Yeah,
watt.
I'll find a
Prime
picture
eight.
of it.
That's like a
The
full size desk radio.
Yeah, it's
it
got
looks
the
like
head.
it looks like the 7100 from Icom kind of. Except
Oh,
it doesn't
okay,
have,
yeah.
it doesn't have 2 and 70 though.
I've got a 430. The 480 is a more modern vintage.
It's like
Oh,
a
yeah,
it's
it's
like
a
a
portable.
mobile. So you can.
Mobile.
Okay.
It's like it's like the 857 and the other detachable heads. You can put the rig in the back, and the head goes up front. But the heads, I don't have it with me. It's in the camper, but the head's like this big. I like the display on it because there's no menus. You just hit the buttons and you go to
Right.
where you want to go. I'm not a huge fan of menus. When you have to go through that and you're like, oh my god, I
It's
just
kind
gotta
of like
get there.
it's kind of
Dave and
like
I are
your
the same way about that,
7300 probably, you know,
There you
as
go,
far
yeah.
as controls.
Oh, that was
So,
like a 706 almost.
This website's really handy. It's called Rig Picks, and it's got
Mm-hmm.
pictures of almost every ham radio you can think of. So all of you people with aspiring YouTube channels, you're welcome. You might want to use that some of your stuff.
I didn't realize these radios you have two models. They have the HX.
This is the SAT.
And the SAT has a tuner built in.
Yes.
Right. 100 watts.
If it's 100 watts, and the other one
Nice.
gets rid of the tuner and it gets 200 watts. There's a guy in, I think he's, I don't remember which state he lives in, but he's a big POTA guy, and that's what he uses. He sits in his truck and just throws out 200 watts all until he's done. So
I've seen somebody on videos who does that, and I think that this is the radio that Good Game had when he started POTA in.
It is. You're right. I think he might have had the 100-watt version.
I don't remember which one he had.
So I have a version in this vintage too. I've got the 570, which is not a mobile radio, but the 570 has that same display on it.
Mhm.
Still has menus.
Yeah, but
This
it's not.
probably still
Mostly
has
everything you
menus,
need
but
is right there
yeah.
on the front.
Okay,
Absolutely.
cool.
And you have for me, I added the voice mod, so you can do CQ. You can hit recording all the time. I miss that on the
Nice.
857. It doesn't have that.
Oh,
Two antenna
you can
ports.
add that. You can add that to the 857. I just saw that the other day.
This has a feature that the 857 doesn't have. It's called a readable screen.
Right? Without
I can read my
miscellaneous
screen. You must be
Amen,
getting
brother.
old.
Right.
No, I think he's talking about the lines on the screen.
Oh, mine doesn't.
Well,
Mine didn't
sorry,
come with the
also
lines
you-
either.
Well, that too. Yeah, the lines too.
All right,
Yes,
how
there's the
many?
Japanese word for lines on screen.
It's been 23 minutes. We already picked on Chuck. How long until somebody mentions ham sticks and gets ape riled up?
Right.
Oh my lord.
Well, ham
Well,
sticks are
okay.
awesome.
Liberty Cave is trying to get me to trade.
Right. He's
Do
trying
it.
to get rid of that like it's
Yeah.
like it's a yeast
I put
infection.
that-
I put that coax switch in the swap. I put that
Get a load
Alpha
from it.
Delta coax switch in the swap meet, and here comes old Liberty Cave shuffling up, looking around, all beady-eyed and sketchy, going, "Hey man,
Holy
hey
moly.
man, I got some ham sticks here. I'll trade you
He's
some
like,
ham
you want to
sticks.
trade? You want
wanna
to trade
trade?
for this hamster?
I'll take your 4-port Alpha Delta coax switch for this ham stick, cat."
Holy
Lay
cow.
Catastrophe.
He
I'll
was
tell you what.
giving
You
you
send
the
me
business.
those ham sticks and $100, and I will gladly take those off your hands.
Right. That's why I should
You have to cover the disposal fee for the ham sticks.
Right?
You don't like ham sticks, Abe?
Oh my god.
You know,
Oh Jesus.
I don't.
There we go.
I don't have a problem per se with them so much, but I just
Yeah, he
to
does.
me I don't. I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't see. Like a lot of times, people go to these elaborate lengths to construct a project with ham sticks. I'm just like, what are you thinking? And I guess if it's a real emergency and you have a mag mount or something or other, and you got to put one on the cart real quick, squeeze out a contact to get your certificate. I guess it's okay. I mean, I don't know. I just don't.
Okay,
actually
next
Nice.
next level
Decent.
up for you. How about Hustler resonators?
Oh, I
Hustlers
love
are
the
really good.
resonators.
It's not a ham stick.
Right.
It's
not
like
a ham
it's the
stick.
same old thing.
They're the next
Fire
step up.
sticks.
I'm
Next
getting
step
ready to
up on
crack
the
a
ham
Miller
stick.
too. It's getting to be about that time.
Well,
What about the buddy pole?
I guess they were trying to say the buddy pole was better than a ham stick because it has a counterpoise. I think was the argument.
The buddy stick has the counterpoise. The buddy pole's the dipole.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I just think that you can make a dipole or do the Mercury kit. I'm not trying to sell the last two we have, but you could make like a Mercury or something like that, and then get yourself like a 32-inch spider beam mast. And then you don't have to dick with all that stuff that you do with the buddy pole. I don't know.
You only go 3 feet off the ground with your antennas?
No, it was 32
Nevis,
feet.
man,
is what I said.
Nevis.
Oh, do you mean 32 foot?
Yeah. So it's
Oh,
at
okay.
32 feet, right?
Yeah, we'll look the replay.
So
Is
you
it
don't do a lot of
Envis or
mobile
Nevis? I would
radio.
say Envis.
No, I'm
think
just saying I don't do any mobile radio with ham sticks. And
You don't do any mobile radio. Let's just leave the
Right.
sentence end where it
I
Yeah,
do.
ends.
that
There you
was
go.
that was about pretty correct.
I do.
think.
Like
No
what
one
I
has
would
ever
do,
seen you operate except for one night a couple of weeks ago.
that was the
Not
only
even
time,
your
that
own
was the only
call
time.
time.
That was the only time
And
I've
that's a-
operated.
And that was at
No,
the
I
32 pack.
do remote setups. I wouldn't say often, but I do them. And to me, it's easy to put up a wire antenna and not like the ham stick is such an extreme compromise. Like I'll hear people coming and be like, I was talking on my ham stick and I got California, from Arizona. And imagine. I'm not trying to be.
My name is Abe,
really
and
not,
I
but
hate ham sticks.
I'm just like,
Oh yeah, guys. By the way, Kevin's here. We need to pick on Kevin some more too.
imagine if you had a real antenna.
Hey,
Okay, Abe, here's a story for you. This is a ham stick story.
uh-oh.
Okay, so I recently went out to Reno last week, and I talked to a guy in the car on the radio. My wife was driving, so I got to talk, and we talked to a guy on 40 meters
Nice
for
save.
almost an hour, right? And he sounded so good. He told us that he had a loop antenna. And why am I telling you this? Why is this good? Because now my wife says,
you should get one of them.
We should put one of those loop antennas at home.
We should.
Upgrade.
That's awesome.
We should. Your wife
So you
should
had
drive
one
more often.
on the car that you were driving and using. So is that, don't they have like the compressed ham stick or the half ham stick or something like that?
The mini.
Oh my gosh.
The half
They should
Shouldn't
have
be
a
a hater.
smaller.
Don't be a hater.
They have a smaller one.
I use Hustlers mostly, right? Hustler resonators, because you can put the porcupine thing. You're not supposed to, but you can put 3 or 4 bands on that thing and drive down the road. And I'll tie like a rope.
yeah,
I'm
driving.
a true mobile guy, right? I'll hang a rope to that thing and string it into the window, and it's going like this all the way back.
That's some resistance there.
Oh yeah,
I've used them, but not driving.
That's to get that award that you were talking about.
I do have for my CB and my Jeep. I have the what is it called? The fire
What's up,
fire
Derek?
stick.
How are you?
Fire stick. Yep. Hey, Derek.
Same thing.
What's up, Derek? But so it's pretty much the same thing.
It's the
And,
same
and then
thing.
actually when I got into ham and I saw the ham stick, I'm like, that's just like a fire stick. But
And you were going to buy it, weren't you?
It's
No.
good for more than 10, 11, and 12.
Have you?
you know what? I
ever
actually
owned
might
have.
have.
you
I
ever
might.
owned a
There
ham
might
stack?
be not knowingly. There might be one up there.
It's a yes or no
done.
question.
Take a look.
It's a yes
Ham
or no
court.
question.
Ham court.
I would say no. I don't have one.
Okay.
I know that there's a fire stick up there.
The last time
Fire
you used
stick.
a ham stick, did you like it? Yes or no?
I've never used one.
That's a yes or no question. Permission
No.
to treat the witnesses hostile?
Granted.
Yeah, granted.
The Plasma says all the truckers he knows. He hangs out at the truck stops, from what I understand.
He does, man. He is a
Says
trucker.
They run the ham sticks.
Hey,
You don't
I
get an
tell you
awesome
what,
handle like that without being a trucker.
Truck stops have a lot of neat stuff, and sometimes it ventures into ham radio a little
Actually,
bit, not much.
Chuck is correct on that one. I mean, I live right down from the interstate, so I go to the truck stop to get food every so often. And there's all sorts of
Kill
gadgets.
Team 6.
Oh, you just lost your card.
There's a Subway, man. It's a Subway, okay?
Oh, okay.
I'm getting in trouble.
I like
You
roller
drive.
food. I'm gonna.
I've never
admit it.
seen
I
anybody
like roller
drive
food.
to the truck stop to get dinner.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you stop at the truck stop when
Sushi?
you're on a trip.
Sushi?
Yeah, sushi. Well, unless it's sushi.
Sure, absolutely.
So I have a question
Nothing
for
better than
Steve.
truck stop sushi.
Kevin,
Yes, sir.
let me ask you about.
He's got a question. Hold on.
Forget
Kevin
your
was in the
question,
middle of
Kevin.
something, Jim.
Go ahead.
Well, now I forgot because I lost my train of thought.
Old
It's
fart.
old.
Playing cards with my brother's kids. Oh, antenna, arrow. So you're doing satellite? You do satellite stuff? I noticed
I've
you
done-
had an arrow video.
Yeah, I've done it before. Satellite, if you don't have all the gear and the junk to dial it in, it's really hard personally for me to make contacts on a satellite because and by the time you do it, they're gone.
I'm hearing excuses.
Yeah, you have to have your junk position just right. Is my
Exactly.
Is my
So I've done it.
understanding.
I've
Get
done
down
it a
and to the
couple
left. Yeah.
I like to wear something loose when I'm
It's-
doing
you know,
satellites
like
so my
you see
junk
these
has got room
guys.
to breathe.
You see these guys go outside with like a bow fang and some, coat hanger antenna. It's all twisted up.
Two bow fans.
Right,
Two
but then
bow
they're
fans.
like
Yeah,
tall satellite with like it was an easy thing to do. But then you have other guys. Here I've got my tracking, my Raspberry Pi with the articulating arm. They have like this
Gazelle.
complex setup, and they can't do it. It's just one of those things. I think part of it's being having a
Talented.
horseshoe in your
Talented.
pocket.
Smart, maybe not.
So
4
Kevin, you
millers
had a
in.
question.
We had a question for you, Steve. Since you're in your RV,
I am.
do you do any radio from your RV since this is a radio channel?
I do.
Ish.
So the Support Your Parks weekend, I took this RV out to.
He's had that RV like a week.
I know, it's-
don't
yeah.
talk crap.
Old
We got,
pro
300
already.
we got 300 or
Just got it.
400 minutes on these tires. Yeah.
Nice.
No, I took it out for Support Your Parks weekend. I got everything set up. I did my 10 contacts, and I found all of the RFI generators inside the RV. So I got a lot of work ahead of me. Every single one of these lights generates RF
Oh, really?
and just wipes out the bands. And they're like little LED lights. I don't know what's going on, but that does
the
it.
problem right there is the LED lights.
And the Fantastic fans do it. I don't know if these are Fantastic fan brands, so I'm not bad mouthing anybody, but yeah, I was in here sweating because it was a hot weekend last weekend when Support Your Parks was. So yeah,
well, just curious because you're going to run into that, and I found recently in mine because on my RV channel I put in one of those fans for the fridge to cool that compartment for absorption refrigerators, and that thing just wipes out 20 and 40 meters. So I have to turn that off, and there's so much to get rid of. I just don't like to operate in there, or I turn everything, go kill switch, and just shut everything off. It just isn't worth it.
In that hot box, and play radio.
So that was actually one of my two suggestions for myself. I'm so new at this, I don't know yet, but operate with the antenna far away, like 50 feet of coax or something, to get you out of the bubble, or operate at a picnic table outside of the RV.
Right.
Yeah, but that coax that you use is going to pick all that shit up, and then so, I'm talking pretty loose. I didn't mean to. And then also the radio itself, right? So. The problem is that you're gonna have to go tearing through there and find the problem stuff and replace it with non-noisy parts. Like the one thing that I would worry about would be the converter, right? Your DC to AC converter. I'm assuming that you have an
don't
inverter.
have one. Yeah, don't have one. So probably
you can't plug in something in there with a 110 outlet.
I have 110 outlets, but only if I'm plugged into shore power. If I'm running off of solar panels, I don't have any AC yet.
Gotcha.
Kevin, what kind of battery setup are you using with your motorhome?
Yeah, so Steve just has his turned off. I think that's why he says he doesn't have one, because he's only using the solar side of it.
And
so
cheap.
So in my RV, I run a couple of Trojan. This is pre-lithium, right? So these are Trojan.
Well, we're talking about batteries here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. What? Calm down, dude, bro.
A couple. I mean, come on. You're among big folks here.
6-volt Trojan batteries. They've got some special glass mat, ridiculous chemistry in there that's supposed to make them better before lithium. And I have those connected to my 400 watts of solar on the camper.
Nice.
Going into a Victron controller and a 3,000 watt inverter. That it's not a pure sine wave, because I just need to run the microwave sometimes, my wife's hair dryer and curling iron, and the coffee maker. Important. And they don't care about that.
The coffee maker is the most important piece that you just named right there.
Oh yeah. And on lead acid batteries, it's so cool because you can watch. I've got a little dial, and I can watch. Lithium batteries don't move, but lead acid batteries, when you put a pound into 80 amps, they go bam down to 11 volts while you're brewing for 3 minutes, and you're sitting here counting, going, "Oh my God, is it going to make it?" The lights are on all night long, and then you're good to go.
Well, T.O. and I've been talking a lot about he wants to run his AC off of his solar.
Experimenting.
Like,
Chuck, are you messing with your camera again?
Yeah, because you look kind of weird.
You look like you're going to be sick. You're going to be sick again.
Look at Kevin,
green.
right? That should be your standard, and then your color is. Jesus.
It's this $15 freaking what do you call it? It doesn't have the good color.
Chuck, it's a poor craftsman.
So you got a
green
green
tools,
tone,
man. I'm just saying.
Like, who was that guy?
So, whatever. Anyhow,
who was the Martian Mixelplick or something? Do you know what I'm talking about? That little green Martian
Mixelplick. That was Superman.
Yeah.
That was a Superman comic.
Yeah, you're kind of getting the beat. That's the kind of color that you got going on over there.
Say his name backwards.
I think you're thinking of the Great
better
from the Flintstones.
No,
that'd be more.
Yeah, that's the one. The one from the Flintstones.
That's better. That's better. Little darker. Little darker. You were almost there.
Darker.
Yeah, you were almost there.
That wasn't
almost had it.
Brightness.
And for the love of God, find the white balance thing. Man, oh man.
Good thing this is a ham radio show and not a camera show.
It's like teaching my mom how to use the VCR, Charles.
I mean, I don't look as red as you, to tell you the truth, Jim. If you were,
well, that's because Jim's been having a few drinks, man. Come on,
and
give him some slack.
He's got that shine, like he's like rolling himself
does.
up.
He said he didn't want people to see him shine, but there's nothing to do about it today. I'll tell you that. It must be hot.
So, but
it is hot.
Back to the AC thing. Tia, I told Tia, I go, I'm not sure you have enough room on your roof to run your AC. But then he found these new little AC units.
DC ACs, yeah.
Oh yeah. So now he's got me all.
It's hard to mix
things.
terms. Yeah, they make DC powered air conditioning units.
It wasn't the name of it AC air conditioners or something though.
Yeah, but I just wanted to make sure we weren't talking like DC powered alternating current.
Yeah,
I know we got some pedantic people in the chat here, and they're going to jump all over me.
And you went from 1,800 watts to 400 watts average, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So because
my AC looks like mathematically it's 2,000 watts. I don't know what the inrush is, but I think it's 2,000 watts continuous. And I still think that's lying. That's just math, because there's not a single spec on it other than it's a Coleman Mac. I got to go digging. But again, I've only had it for 300 or 400 minutes or so I don't know much.
Right.
Mike talking crazy.
Well, I
Mike
say
is-
save your money and just buy more radios.
Exactly.
It's going
Right.
to be
Yeah.
a fortune
Am I-
to do that.
My answer would just buy a generator.
There you
Well,
go.
yeah, I've got a generator. That's not any fun though. I've actually got 3 generators.
Yeah.
Well, the generator's probably pulse width modulated and all that stuff, and dirtier than
Well,
The
mine
diesel
last
one for
weekend-
sure. Yeah.
Dirtier than that girl you dated in high school.
right.
Hey. Oh, you're talking about
I've
Abe's
never-
girlfriend. Never mind.
One-
I've never
not the
checked.
one
I've
you
got
married,
diesel.
Not the first
got
one
a-
you married. No.
I've got a diesel generator on my motorhome, and I haven't checked to see if it actually interferes noise wise. But I was camped it was like a parking lot, right, for the races.
Right, Mike?
And so during the day or anytime people were running their generators, it was just like you see it in the screen and hear it, So I didn't even bother. I actually did FT8 for a while because it was
It's
just-
almost the same signal, the
easier.
generator and the FTA.
Right.
It
He was
is,
making
yeah.
contacts with the motorhome next door. He didn't even know
Chuck
it.
probably didn't have the audio right on the 705. That was the generator making contacts for him.
Nah.
Now, do any
No.
of you guys that camp, that do remote camping or whatever, do you use SDR displays? Do your radios have them, or do you just turn on the rig and you just dial around?
It depends on what
It-
radio I bring with me that day.
Yeah, same here. I've got a 991, which has the SDR part of it, and then I've got my A57. I've got the KX2. Yeah, just whatever I have. It's what I'm doing. Like if I'm going to backpack, the KX2 is really the only decent radio, unless you're going to share batteries, share parts and stuff with other people.
I used to go camping all the time with these guys, and that's what got me into ham radio. Is that we wanted a way to communicate with each other, and we were playing with FRS and GMRS and CB, and then I think we got landed on ham radio, and so I did a lot of 2 meter, 70 centimeter stuff.
Was that back in your ham stick day?
Yeah, I had a ham stick actually on my
Mofo
belt.
was
fan.
using the ham stick. He
I had
didn't
to-
know it. He didn't remember.
Ham sticks, bow fangs, and top ramen.
Right,
That's right.
right.
Those were the days.
It was working really well. But yeah, it would depend on the radio, right? When I had the G90, so that was when I
Bingo.
would take on vacation all the time. It was a G90, and one of the reasons I bought the 705 was because of that. Because I would, using the G90, which I liked, I have zero problem with it. I really do wish I had the same experience that I have at home with my 7300. So that's what got it. And both of those have the
So
waterfall.
What's the excuse with the Lab 599?
There's no excuse. I just haven't. It hasn't left the house yet. I'm afraid. Even though it's ruggedized, I'm afraid
Afraid
something
I'll get
happens.
hurt.
Well, you're not supposed to use it as a wheel chock.
When he operates
That's
portable.
What's that?
Nothing.
Smart now.
I might have been.
So, Jim, did Kevin answer your satellite question?
No, because I think a squirrel or 5 ran by.
So
Okay.
you asked about satellites. Say that again.
Well, I just saw your video with the arrow. So you've done satellites once or twice. Used a couple of fangs to do it, or you had a radio that was full frontal duplex, or
Yeah, so I've tried it with the VX8, the Yaesu VX8. That's got that ability, and I programmed all that. So, okay, here's a sidetrack again. When you're in ham radio, and I love HF. This isn't
Right.
us. We're going to get there. And you turn on the radio, you hook up your wire antenna, you just start talking or you start communicating. Well, when you're doing satellites, you got to set up the antenna, you got to program the radio, or 2 radios if you're using 2 Baofangs, and then you got to get some rotators and dial that. So I just did it twice. It was just too much work for me.
fiddly.
Yeah, it
I've got-
doesn't mean it's not good. I just maybe I
Yeah,
don't have
no.
the patience. You can see I chase squirrels. It's too much.
I'm planning on doing it. I have I bought a 847, a Yaesu FT 847, which is their QTH size satellite radio, and it will actually track and do the Doppler shift for you and everything. So all I have to do is get an antenna on it yet, and I haven't decided what antenna I'm going to put on it. And then I got a Roxanne, I don't remember how you say that. Roxanne.
I say Wo Chan. I don't know
Wo-Chan.
if that's right though.
Wu Chang.
KG-UV9D, and it is full duplex radio. So I'm planning on doing some satellite with that. But
Frontal
it's
duplex.
too freaking hot for me to stand outside and fiddle around with waving satellites around for a while. So
You got
Well,
to
you
come
get one of
visit the
those-
farm.
You can get one of those TV antennas.
In the
tuners.
winter.
a rotor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just program it for every, I don't know, some 45 degrees or something, and you're just catching the beginning and the end of it as you go along. You hit the remote, and then you
He wants front to back and side to side though. Like,
Right. Well, so for the Yaesu one, I'm going to probably do 2 egg beaters, a UHF and a VHF
you ain't
egg
doing
beater.
no egg beater.
Yeah, I am with ham
All right.
or a
So
ground
in the chat, who's going to get their antenna built first? Jim with his dual egg beater setup, or
Egg
Jason
beater,
with
right.
his DX Commander setup?
I still might go
He thinks
Jim.
you Betty Crocker mixing a cake with that thing. You ain't doing no egg beaters. They're expensive, right? If you buy one and then build one,
That's why I ain't bought them yet.
right? I'm saying if you're building one, that's going to be might be outside
Ain't
your
nobody said
wheelhouse.
nothing about building one. I ain't Chuck. No, son, I'm buying one.
Get out
Buying
his metal
2 of 'em.
lathe, make it out of a
Okay.
solid ingot.
I'm kind
Right.
of like Kevin. I don't think I'd waste my time making an
Or a
antenna for that.
turnstile antenna. Either way, but
Too much work.
If you get that
Well,
good of an
you-
antenna, then you cannot be off. You've got to be dead
That's
on.
right.
And that makes the
Dead
problem
on,
even
right.
worse.
I sent you some info today. I tried to get you to look at that stuff today, Jim, about
what are you talking about, Willis?
satellites.
I saw it.
Okay. Those guys were
Whatever.
using loop antennas.
Yeah.
Way
And
easier.
we were talking to somebody, I think, on the show in the last couple of weeks that
Sean?
no, it wasn't Sean. Somebody else
About
is-
what? About
about
what?
satellite. Somebody was telling us that he uses he's just using a disc cone.
Was it Metro
Oh,
Metro
that's-
Metro Atlanta
That's
guy?
Joe.
Oh, the
That's
Atlanta
Joe
guy,
in
yeah.
the chat.
Was it Joe?
Joe in the Discord.
He's getting
Is
confused.
Joe's not in the chat
Yeah.
right now, is he?
That's right. Joe in the Discord. K9UR.
Joe in the Discord. K9UR.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's using a disc cone for it.
Joey, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
AKA.
So I
Well,
might
Kevin's
try that.
talking about you
I
get.
have a disc cone I just bought, so I'm gonna put it up on a mast this weekend and see what it works.
Yeah.
How
If
it
you
What
get a
disc
good
cone?
direct-
What disc cone is it?
If you get a good directional antenna, it's going to be a little bit harder. I think is what
The guy
Kevin's
from
talking about, 'cause
Atlanta.
Now you have to like have it right on the satellite, right?
Well, and with an egg beater or a turnstile or a disc cone, it's not directional. Yeah, optimal would be
Right.
a Yagi on an AZEL mount, but that's also $2,000 or $3,000 more than Jim intends to spend on this little operation. So
Someplace I have some info on that for you. I'll have to find it again.
yeah, I got the thing you sent me. That was on.
Did I send it to you?
Yeah,
I make your own? Okay.
yeah.
What, make his own egg beater?
No, I think
it's
it was
the
a
turnstile.
controllers. The controller stuff.
Oh, the controller. Yeah, that too.
Yeah, there's a guy, Fred, here in town. Well, he's up the road from me a little bit. And he was trying to get on that the one I sent you, the C4. I forget which satellite. It looks like you actually have a little bit of time on that one where it's not moving too fast. And he heard a couple guys, but he wasn't making contacts. Then I looked at a bunch of other ones, and the guys
So it's a satellite for OMs like Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What trackers software
Exactly.
do you use, Kevin?
I think it was AMSAT or something. It's been probably a year since I've done that.
Gotcha.
That's what that was.
there's
Amtrak.
three.
AMSAT,
of
there's
them.
something else.
I downloaded an app for my phone, and it, and I could put in whenever one was coming close, and it would beep, be a bing, and then I look on and be AO.
Yep, I'm not going out today either.
And what was, I had to
sun
turn the
is
damn thing
outside.
off
I'm
because
not
it was
going
like every
outside.
20 minutes, some satellites going, because originally I had it on
Yep.
any satellite that comes over,
Oh my God.
and there's a lot of them up there. I didn't know that, and so then I had to start calling the herd, and end up uninstalling.
That's
the
why
app.
you got twitchy. Is that phone was giving you PTSD or something?
It goes off all the damn time anyway.
Yeah.
But that was
So
starting.
it's your girlfriends or your dealing
Yeah, right.
clientele?
How many
it's
phones
work.
do you have, Abe? How many phones do you have? I mean, if you got more than one, you're either dealing drugs or running hookers. One of the two.
Hey, maybe
both.
I'm just technical.
Is there something wrong with that, Jim?
I didn't say
Yeah.
there was. I just said he's.
Just checking.
Now, really, I don't have any cell phones. If you
I
check
have a
the actual
pilot's
public
license and
record.
too many technology pieces, so you can kind of put the pieces together for that one.
I find it best to not have any phone in your name, so I don't have any, to be honest with you.
In your government.
In
name,
your
at
all
least.
caps government name.
So, Kevin, how long have you had your license?
I've been ham since 2013.
And
I
are
got
you
maybe-
extra general?
Yeah, I started out with the regular one, and I got a general after that. And then it didn't take me long to get my extra after that. To seeing how exciting it is to do this, and then I set on the quest to change my call, and I got that a couple of years ago to the K7SW.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Gotta have that 4 letters, man.
Have you ever operated Pack Tour?
Pack
That's my
Tour.
next thing,
That's
too.
Yeah. There's a couple of questions on
is
some
that
of the tests.
FT8 something or other?
There's more than a couple questions on that damn test.
And it's just one of the things that's worse than ham sticks is like, why do we have to know about Pack Tour to get licensed? Is
Why
things
is
I
Well, you got to know about
Echo
Echo Link. You got to go
Why
both
in the
ways,
hell
man.
is Echo Link on the freaking test? It's a VoIP app. Okay, whoopee-doo. What's that got to do with ham radio?
It does
Right.
connect to repeaters. I've used Echo Link to talk to somebody driving in
Oh, Lord.
Australia.
Yeah.
I've set up my
Hobart.
TMV71 with Echo Link, and I remotely could log in and check into nets, and that was kind of like satellites that went
Yeah,
away.
Brojet does that too. Echo
does
Link's
the
actually
Echo
pretty
Link?
useful. I don't want to be
Yeah.
too hateful, but I like to be like, that's not real ham radio, bro. It's like internet radio. You're Zello,
Like
app.
DMR,
right.
like D-Star.
But it is pretty neat though.
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
somebody talking about wasn't somebody talking crap somewhere about their internet radios the other day?
Yes. That
I don't
was,
I don't remember who it was, and if I did, I wouldn't say their name, but somebody was giving one of
Who?
you guys crap about their internet connected radios. I think it was you,
DMR
Abe.
probably.
I don't know.
I don't know who it was, but I'm going to say it was Canada Joe.
It could be.
that's a good place to start.
I mean, it
He's
sounds like something he
responsible
would
for a
do.
lot of
I don't know if he
things, yeah.
really did it or not.
It could be a
He dipped out
Canadian
on me in the
thing.
middle of a PONA contact. Park to park even.
Yeah, he liked that. That's how he is.
Talk about ham court.
Well, what's the next thing you're going to explore or do? Kevin?
For me,
Yeah. I'm not interested in talking to the other guys, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to keep you engaged, Kevin, because you're the guest.
yeah, we're just kind of listening to what you're doing there. So a
We're
lot
just
of building
running off
antennas
mouth.
and working with new hams. That seems to be the most fun. I did a video recently with a guy that's not too far away. We did an NVIS video, Eric.
Yep.
I'm going to mess this up. Ki7WJP. Eric, super fun guy, and he's getting into SOTA and POTA and learning all this stuff, and it's fun to share what you learn about the hobby. I mean, it doesn't take anything for me to say, you want to go operate? I'm going to jam an antenna in the vehicle and go do that. Set up a couple radios and just play. Sometimes don't even have to get on the air, right? You can just play with the radio and just get it all set up, and then you don't have to operate. But sometimes it's just like this. You can go on and on.
Yeah, I saw the Envis video that you did, and then the fellow you were backpacking, it's something like he's got a backpacking in his name. I'm a sub of his channel. So after that, I watched a video on his where he took his SDR, like a RTL, one of these things, RTL SDR thing, out into the woods. And so he looks like he was actually doing like hiking and camping and all that first, and then got into radio, and then now he's going to do the SOTA stuff with them.
Oh yeah.
Which is cool. But that was that design that you had for that Envis antenna. You said was a military design, right?
Yeah, that's it. It's a AS 2259, something like that. I built that a few years back. It's fun. It's just something. It's not a very resonant antenna or anything, but
Right.
With the KX2, it works. Making that kind of stuff's fun. It's good to have that with everything that's going on these days. To have some sort
Skills.
of Envis, right?
Yeah.
Skills. It's all about setting up antennas. And I could get so nerdy. My wife just goes nuts. And there's one more exciting, fun thing I find the most fun thing for me in ham radio is my wife got her license.
Oh, great.
Probably
Get
was
out
way
of
cool.
town.
as well.
Nice.
She won't operate,
Jealous.
but
Jelly?
Jealous, man. Jealous.
yeah. So
I get
Jeeping?
eye rolls.
Jeeping ham radio, RVing and a ham radio, just a ham radio. I don't know. It's just all addicting.
Ham all the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
I can never answer your question, can I?
Did he ask
Sorry,
a question?
man.
I wasn't listening.
Well, I was asking about the antenna and the.
What are you up to? Yeah. He's like, God, thank God I didn't ask him that again.
No, but I thought the antenna was pretty cool. You said it took like a 64 square space up or something like that. I
Yeah.
was surprised at the foot. I mean, that sounds like it's a big, but I was surprised the footprint on that actually seemed like it was pretty reasonable for that kind of
Yeah.
work.
It's still kind of big. I met this guy camping one time. He was a military guy. Just all of a sudden, out of the blue, this guy came up over
Thanks,
the hill,
Joe.
dressed up in his gear, and he had his
Wow.
kids in a military backpack. I forget what they're called. Where it's all encrypted. And he's like, "Oh, you got radio and stuff? Let me show you this." And he set up an antenna just like that. And so I'm going, "Ah, that's cool." Well, he went through all his thing, and of course, he couldn't make one contact. No, nobody was on. He had to even call him, and no one would talk to him. So
Yeah, can you pick up the phone down there?
yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm demoing this. I really need to make that contact. So
No,
the entire reputation of the military is riding on my shoulders right now. Pick up your radio.
oh yeah.
But what do they like to operate on? 5 megahertz? Is that right?
The military?
Chuck, I figure you would know. Yeah.
The air band is HF, like up in the 300 megahertz range.
I think a lot of those
Just a little
military
bitty
backpack
antennas.
radios are like 5 megahertz, but I could be wrong about that.
Probably are.
Or UHF.
I can't remember everything.
I don't remember either. Where does the ACARS stuff work? Because they do a lot of the same kind of stuff in the frequencies with ACARS. I think all that stuff's in UHF-ish. And then some down in HF as well.
One of the guys that races with us he worked at I think he worked at the lab in Livermore, and they were making radios and antennas for the military, and he was talking like antennas this big. I mean, so they're real high stuff. He didn't say what frequencies. He basically said he couldn't tell me what it was. And
Carlos's mother-in-law uses 6 meters.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Well, there you go.
He was trying to sell me on a scope, and I said, "Don't even talk to me about scopes. I gotta listen to that shit."
I got this guy I know.
Oh my God! I can hear the butt hurt coming from California right there.
Oh no, butt hurt, Mister. I love ham radio, but let's don't talk about antennas. The
I didn't
best
say let's
part.
don't talk about antennas. Let's don't talk about.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
making
did.
antennas. Well, I was trying to engage Kevin with the stuff on
was.
Kevin's channel.
I was talking directly about an antenna that Kevin was using, and
Act like you did your homework for the show.
He had filed this antenna blueprint.
I did homework, man.
For
I
Pat.
actually watched Kevin before, so it wasn't like just today.
No, but we were talking about watching his videos, not like peeking in his windows, Chuck.
Right. So you have an RV channel too?
Yeah, I started out doing that, and then a friend of mine said, "Well, you should do ham radio stuff." I go, "That's stupid," and here I am.
It is.
Hey, who are you calling?
RV stuff's
It's way
RV
more
stuff's
fun.
way better. I mean, it's for subscribers and Lux. RV stuff's way better.
Yeah. What's your
From
RV
what
channel
I've seen.
name?
It's RV Romeo Victor Addict. RV
Okay.
Addict.
ATTIC.
Yes, ADDICT. Addict, as in drug addict.
He's not talking about
Is that
attic,
eight?
like the unfinished room above the house.
Attic, like where you put your ham sticks.
Right.
Put that
Yeah.
up in the attic.
Yeah.
And MFJ makes a octopus you can put 8 ham sticks on at one time.
Chameleon does too. That's
That's the
actually really
dumbest,
good looking
the
device.
dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Chameleon copied that from MFJ.
Whatever,
Let's get that
but-
straight.
MFJ. I just said MFJ makes one. I don't know who else makes one, but
Chameleons count every one of their antennas, cat, right?
Oh yeah, they copied all their stuff.
There he goes. Hey, Steve, I have an upgrade for you. One of your upgrades for your camper.
Okay.
Well, two,
Oh,
but the
I think
main
it has
one
a
would
T.
be Flagpole Buddy. If you don't already
Okay.
have that,
I
So
do
go in the
not.
back of
I've
your.
got
You have a
that.
ladder on the back of your.
I
camper?
do have a ladder. So you're talking about the thing that
Oh
holds
my
a
God.
mast to the ladder? Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was on my
I've got
my
one.
wish list.
absolutely.
I've
So that's
got it
one.
in-
What's two?
The other one is, and these aren't obviously ad things. Level Mate Pro.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah,
Yep.
Get the plus though, because then you can wire it into your rig, and you just literally back up, and you can see it on your phone, and you know your level.
Yep.
you fancy guys in your RVs.
I just push a button on mine and it levels.
What about that home brew? Don't you have the home brew RV, Chuck?
I do.
Yes.
I got my trailer too. I don't, just park it. Yeah. Though actually what he's talking about would be good for that because it would help a little on the most of the places I've been with that have been level though. I got a little box trailer that's pretty much like a toy hauler now.
Chuck's
So
having
you-
trouble getting to the end of the sentence.
Does Chuck have you have Class A? Is that right?
No.
He is
I
a
had Class B.
Where do you feed your coax into the back of your rig
Which rig?
or front? Your push and pull, your diesel pusher.
Oh, my diesel pusher. That I just prop that through the window, the front window, by the driver's seat.
Oh man, I put mine right in the gas hole.
But my my trailer, I've got like a actual hole in the side of it. that I can pull
Propane.
everything
Propane.
through.
What were you thinking?
But aren't you supposed to have like a through wall kind of deal and all that to be all professional. I mean, Chuck, I mean, for God's sake, you're a YouTube ham. If somebody sees that wire coming in the window,
celebrity.
I just,
right.
Most of the time I operate outside. So then if I do operate inside, I just
less RFI that way. Yeah.
It was as soon as
That
11
book screen
o'clock,
on my
everybody was
windows, I'm
asleep
civilized.
last time. Well, mine does too, but it slides. So,
like you see these guys, and I'm not making fun of anybody, but like these Aries guys, I think this is the right term for them. You know, they got the vest and all that kind of stuff, and they
always with the yellow vests. Mm-hmm.
And these little, I do. Yeah, but that's something different.
You should wear it for your stream.
He has. It's right there. It's right on the desk next to him.
Yeah, but they have these little teeny trailers that they tug around, and they'll show inside of them, and there's like all kinds of batteries and UHF and VHF and HF stations and oscilloscopes for gym, and just all this stuff is jam packed in there. And they've got about 13 inches from the back wall to the front of the desk, but the guy's got like a 50-inch waistband, and I'm like, bro, you ain't getting in there and operating. Like, who's going to? You need like a 13-year-old. And I can just imagine how hot it would get in some of those things. I couldn't do it. I'd have to be like Chuck and operate outside.
well, I mean, I do.
But we're thankful those guys are here, though.
My trailer's set up really good for actually if you want to make it a shack because it's got more room than I have in my shack here, and I did something like his the antenna buddy, I've got that thing. I never used it yet. But I built my own on the front of my trailer, which is way more solid than that because it's hooked to the frame and everything. And I ran my my Moxon all weekend down at Horse Fest last year, and that's right. some pretty good wind down there. So I don't know that I would have trusted that on the ladder deal. I don't know. It was pretty. I was surprised that the Moxon was still standing the next day. Somebody must have done a good job.
You did say Moxon. We got Jim with the scope and the catastrophe, and we got Chuck with the Moxon. I'm still low rent though.
Chuck and I were both firefighters, so
yeah.
There we go.
I'm still low rent. I use bungee cords to tie my mast off to the ladder.
I'm not
Ain't nothing wrong with a
either.
bungee cord.
If it works, do it.
I've got the car.
I want to get something I can plug onto
against a tree outside.
My trailer hitched, and then I can just drop the spider beam into the whatever that is. Like just
that works good.
Nice. Yeah. So Chuck, I have to talk to you about what is the product?
They're only like $17 or something. I could have made it, but it wasn't worth even making it for what it cost.
Well, I've got one in the backyard that is one of the you pull up with your tire on it, and it has a flagpole in there, and that was like $15. And it has my Gigaparts fiberglass mast in it. And that fiberglass mast, sponsored. Well, it has been outside for more than 2 years. I got it. I'm like, this thing is huge. So I just went outside and I took the
That's what she said.
drive-on thing, whatever it is, and I put some logs across it, and then the mast comes up to where my kid's swing set is, and I just have it lashed onto that swing set. Did that more than 2 years ago, and I was just out there the day, and I was shaking
Aren't your
it.
Kids in like college?
Thing's been sitting out there. My wife wanted to get rid of it like 5 years ago.
Swing?
She was like, "No, let's hold my antenna."
Nobody's been on that swing set in forever.
Are the Christmas lights still up too?
Yeah, and so
Nebraska, that's a year-round thing,
right? We just call them lights.
And after a 18-pack of lights, there is somebody on that swing set.
There probably is. I'm gonna go down the slide, damn it!
I know I could make it over that barrel you said over there.
Well, she told me, she goes, "Hey, just so you know, Shady Mike's coming this weekend to pick up the swing set." I'm like, "No, he ain't." And she's like, "You've been complaining about that swing set for years." I was like, "It's staying now. It's just got my antenna."
Why don't you park the boat on it, the party boat on it, man?
The pontoon. That's
the
my
pontoon
deck.
boat.
Because I couldn't get a permit. I couldn't get a permit for the deck, so we just backed the pontoon up to the back of the house, and then you step out onto that.
White
portable,
for the
so
wind,
it's free.
Baby.
It works, right?
but there's no way that we're getting rid of the swing set because it's my antenna. It's my antenna.
No way.
No.
Oh my God. It is almost 8:00, and I think Mr. Cashler is coming on here in a couple minutes.
What?
Yeah.
Who?
Dave.
That backcountry amateur man, that guy's he's in the snow in his little deal there. That's the guy you were doing the Invis with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a fun guy.
Check him out. I haven't seen him before.
Oh, he's got a good channel. He's got a good channel.
There's something else I wanted to ask you about that you were doing here.
You got like 30 seconds, Chuck.
What?
Thanks for having me on your show today.
We're running over, Castler.
Thank you, Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
Yeah.
I don't think
Go
we should
subscribe
run
to
over
his channel.
Kessler because he has like 1,000 bazillion more subscribers than all of us together.
But you're 33 tonight. They're going to hurt him.
Oh,
'Cause
hell,
they're
his show
gonna
already
stick with us.
started.
Did
That
it?
snaky bastard.
He does. He
that.
does a soft launch about 10 minutes early.
And today's his birthday, so whatever.
Oh.
Happy birthday, dear
Happy
Dave.
birthday, Dave.
Happy birthday, dear Dave.
Well, you guys don't forget to check out Kevin's channel and both his channels, actually. I think I've seen him. I think I've seen you on. It was like when you said RV, I'm like, I think I've seen him on his RV channels too. Because I watch those
guy
also.
over there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Who is that guy?
Kessler waits for no man.
I think he was talking about Chuck because Chuck was determined we were going to keep this going. It was funny. What you got going on, Charles? What's coming up on your channel on KK7SW Adventures?
I think I'm gonna pull my 991 under the scope. I broke it. So
Do you have a scope?
What?
He got a microscope.
A microscope. Something
nice.
useful. Something useful for
Right,
home radio.
right.
Right.
Jeez Louise. Kevin, what have you got coming up on your channel?
More antenna testing and some RV stuff with the antennas going up. I've got some outdoor things and definitely some more POTA activations.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What do you use
POTA's so
for
easy.
antenna testing?
I use the Rig Expert AA250. Is that the right one? Where it does up to 2 meters. Doesn't do UHF.
They must have been sold out in NOVNAs that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now they're gone. Are they ever coming back?
Not the good
Yeah,
ones.
that's one of his
They're
things.
gone for good.
Or is
Chuck,
the Rig Expert
Chuck
gone?
and I are all about Rig Experts. Ape is like, oh, this,
It's just so fast and easy.
Yep.
I like my Comet too, but the Rig Expert's the fastest. If I'm tuning an antenna, that's the fastest because I can just hit a button, boom, I'm done. And
Tio,
I just
what
don't
are
have enough. I don't have enough time with the.
Just hope
I've
it's
only
right.
played with it. It is right. It's perfect.
Tio, what are you
You
up
don't
to?
calibrate it.
Yeah, so
me
last
too.
weekend the Toads got together on the
Quality.
Discord and we built out the QDX radio kit, and
How'd
that was
yours
a
work?
fantastic. Mine worked great. It works better when you turn the audio on the computer. I was doing some troubleshooting there for like a half an hour, and then after I got that part settled out, it was like the band conditions last Sunday were horrible. So I chased somebody around the bands for a bit. Rob from in the Discord from the UK was there. I chased him a bit, and then I switched over to my 100-watt rig, and I was still having trouble completing contacts, and a lot of other people were saying the same thing. But I made some more contacts since then, so I've got some highlights of what the differences are between the Rev 1 kit and the Rev 3 kit, and some information on making contacts. And there's going to be some more QDX stuff. I've got an FX4C from Tim in the chat here that he sent me that I'm going to do some
That's
reviews
actually
on.
a
And
nice little radio for the money.
it
Is
is.
that little
yeah.
plastic one, the orange?
It has
one?
some-
No,
That's
no, that's
it
the
has
true
pretty-
SDX.
Okay.
That's pretty good receive.
Same
Those-
thing.
I got way too much radio stuff to do and not enough time to do it. I got to start making some more money on YouTube because I got this full-time job thing that's getting in the way.
Right.
That's right.
Mhm. What about you,
I
the
don't.
Smoking Ape?
The-
Well, I just happen to have this VNA right here that I'm
Look at him
gonna.
flexing. Look at him flexing with his
We'll
big
get
screen.
flex.
That's
That
not
I'm
a
gonna-
Nano. That's a
No, but
that's a
actually got
4XL.
It's got a keyboard and everything. It's actually got a 17-inch touch screen on this baby.
17
inch.
inch.
I'm sorry,
I think
seven.
it's
Seven.
seven
Seven.
inches.
Oh, shit on
That's
that
what
one.
he told his wife, right?
Woo!
Yeah.
She might
Yeah,
believe
you
it.
always lie about
the size
Ain't
of
nobody
something.
else does.
He's a fisherman.
Right, but no. So I got this. I need to do some. Here it is booting. I need to do some videos on this. There you guys are.
Then you can send it to me so I can do some real work with it.
That one's pretty
I
cool.
don't know. I don't think this is
So,
going anywhere.
Does that have an HDMI out?
It does not, but it has a sound. It has a SD card in here, and you can save stuff to the
Things.
SD card. So
Yeah.
you can your SP1, SP2 files. You can save your calibrations to the sound card to the SD card, and then you can also save screenshots. But
Can you
when
hook maps up to that? Like,
can you do?
if I put it in my Forerunner, could I use it for maps?
You might be able
CBS.
to. The other thing is it has USB-C, so you can plug it up to your computer and boot it as an external drive, so that you can access the file system and all
that's
that kind
okay.
of
That's
stuff.
pretty snazzy. Mm-hmm.
It is.
Does the Rig Expert do all that?
No, it doesn't. And
No.
so if you take a look at where
I knew that.
the VNA, like these nano VNAs have come in the last 3 years, it's super impressive.
Pretty soon they'll be up to Rig Experts.
I can't
How much?
imagine that any this blows any Rig Expert away at a reduced cost. I mean,
What's it cost? Come on.
well, you can
Spill-
get them between
spill.
$400 and $600. So, Jesus
But
Christ,
you can get an
the Rig Expert
855.
1.2 gigahertz. Big Expert's
I'm
like
gonna have to go back
$700.
to. I'm gonna have to go back to bottom ramen so I can save my money up and afford one of those.
It's
I know.
cheaper than most of the Rig Experts.
I know, and had I known about that, I wouldn't have bought the Libra VNA, which I kind of regret. So if any of y'all want to buy a Libra VNA, I can make you a deal. And no Liberty.
You should have said it that way, Jim. We're gonna have to have
49.
It's like, why did you bring it up like that, Jim? If you wanted to sell,
We're gonna have to have some talk about salesmanship, Jim.
Nobody's going to buy that thing. So,
It does work with Nano VNA Saver. Sure.
Yeah.
Every single thing that you can do with the highest end Rig Expert, you can do with this at a lower price plus more plus stuff. That's it.
And you dropped a video out just today, too.
I did a video on beginner HF ham radios. It's been on my list of videos to release for like 3 months, and I just haven't. I've been working a little bit here, a little bit there, but I did it, and then I released it today. So.
And Chuck, you had a video out yesterday with the Grand Canyon stuff? Was it
yeah,
out or
yesterday,
Tuesday?
day before, I think.
Tuesday.
Yeah, it was just
That
the
looked
Grand
like an
Canyon.
awesome trip.
It
Yeah,
was
that was a
pretty
good
cool.
video.
You know what? I've been to the Grand Canyon when I was a kid, and I really didn't remember it very well. But man, that thing is. I took some good pictures, but it's nothing like actually being there. I mean, because your eyes.
But that,
just-
any pictures of
everything.
the land and all that kind of stuff? Or
What? Yeah, there was.
I
had
thought you
a
were
bunch
taking
of
pictures of the guys you went with. I didn't know that you were taking pictures of.
I didn't take too many pictures of those guys.
Good, because we've seen drunk people before, and y'all all look alike.
I think there's like me and Javi were the only two that might not have been.
that weren't.
And
Nobody
maybe Bill.
fell off the side, right? That's a plus.
Well, somebody was saying that Frank was like all up on the edge or something like that. Is that right?
Mike's. I got Mike saying that he was hanging his feet over the edge or something. But that wasn't the Grand Canyon. There's another little canyon that was close to the Grand Canyon that we.
I
were
wouldn't
at.
go 20 feet to that edge. You know what I mean? Like I just
The
would,
main
Just a
part of
normal
that
canyon,
canyon's
not the Grand Canyon.
5,000 feet down, right? It's over a mile down vertical drop, isn't it?
It's pretty big. I don't know. Probably 21 miles across if you hike it.
Yeah, but I was talking about the.
But vertical, yeah, it's pretty deep. I don't know.
Wow.
Oh, you're Utah. Utah has some really great places too to go camping. There's have you ever seen the guy? Did you ever, Kevin? Do you ever do the Facebook POTA page?
Yes.
You ever seen the guy that has the old Chevy truck with the big camper that takes he puts up like 5 or 6 different antennas and he spends like a week there and the guy's he's just awesome photographer. He takes some
No,
really-
but it sounds like a dream.
and he did a lot of that stuff in Utah, up in the hills, and then he's from Oregon or Washington, I think, though. But he spent a lot of time in Utah for I was briefly on that Facebook page. I don't really do Facebook, but I was trying to learn about POTA at the time, and
Did you go to North Rim or South Rim?
we went south. I guess we could have gone. Well, it was all set up. Charlie from Red Summit. He set the whole thing up, and that's where I didn't realize it's like 7,000 feet. At camp there. We did a summit that was just we drove out to this level of place and did a summit on there. Summit's on the air. It was actually I walked on that one.
well, hold on. Are you in Utah, Kevin?
I am.
Oh my God.
I'm south of Salt Lake City, and we have
The
the
show-
most amazing views
Are
out
you-
there.
The
Where do
show
you
just
live?
started. I had no idea, so I got all these Utah stuff I want to talk about. Thumper, good friend, he is from Bountiful, Utah. I don't know if I'm
north
supposed to
of
say
it,
that,
yeah.
But I'm watching the
friends
show
in
on
Sandy.
TV. It's
I got a friend
about.
at Sandy also.
I can
Well, I'm
smell
watching the
you
show
talk.
on the TV. It's about the Skinwalker Ranch.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. So, are you Have you driven a
look
Jeep
that
through
one
the
up.
Skinwalker Ranch or what? What's going on there?
Okay, I've
I
been
read
thinking
that
about
book.
it. So I watched the first season. That's the only thing that's on Netflix because I don't have the rest of the series.
It's
And
on Hulu. If you got Hulu's seasons 2 and 3 are on Hulu.
What
then I'm
show
gonna
are
have
you
to do
talking
that.
about?
It's called
Skinwalker
Skinwalker
Ranch.
Ranch.
It's the secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. Now the adults are talking,
Secret.
James.
It is
Grown
crazy.
folks are
Work
talking.
call in 10 minutes, so or 15 minutes, so we need to.
But
So-
on the show, I get upset. I don't know if you do when you watch it, but I get very angry because these guys have these cheap ass multimeters and they're like, I'm reading it on my trimeter right now, boy. We got a magnetic radiation interference spike that's going to kill and they go crazy and they use words incorrectly and they talk about RF incorrectly. But
Which
does that
bothers
upset you?
Are
Oh
you
my
an
God.
engineer? Hey,
Today-
You
are
want
you
to
an engineer?
send them a strongly worded letter
Listen,
and see if
I
they'll have you on the
identify.
show as an expert.
It doesn't matter if I'm an engineer or not. I identify as an engineer, and it's my right as an American that you accept that. Now, so,
You know why I said that, don't you?
no, I don't.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you later.
But
So I
so
know where
that
that is.
bothers
That's
you,
out,
right?
that's out in the desert, right?
Yeah.
So it's east of me. And I've been out there, I've camped out in that area, not that place. And so I saw the whole season. And at the end of it, my wife and I are looking at each other going, what the hell is this? It's like it seems too scripted.
Right,
but
right.
When
Well, of course, it's
season
reality
2 and
TV.
3,
It's scripted.
Oh,
It's
is it one
like-
of those shows?
it's getting better,
It's like
right?
Bigfoot
Yeah.
stuff.
And it's funny if you watch, like I did, you see they have this massive drone. And they're getting ready to launch it. And they're like, oh, the battery shut off. But then there's a drone overhead showing that.
The battery
You're
that's
like,
dead in the
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, they start using like
Nice,
SDR Sharp, which is freeware software.
You're right.
Here in the lab, we have a very sophisticated spectrum analyzer that allows us to broadband spectrum analyze frequencies across the range of spectrum that humans know about. And they just start talking crazy. And like, I'm literally telling my wife, I was like, I looked at that field strength meter before James and I built our own. And I was like, it's $200 on Amazon. And this guy's supposed to be this wealthy millionaire, and you got these rednecks. There's nothing wrong with rednecks. They're my people. You got these rednecks out in the desert that are using Amazon equipment. I'm like, it's ridiculous.
This is a professional multi-phase spectrum detector.
And it's got duct tape on it. That makes it official.
That's insulation from the ectoplasmic radiation.
It's a dudiplexer.
Well, so my wife is like, she's like, oh, I'm really glad you're watching the show, and I like the show, and I'll watch it with you. But then she didn't, I just kept watching. So I got like almost all the way through season 2. And she's like, hey, did anything happen yet? She didn't watch season 2 with me. She goes, did anything happen yet? And I was like, no, not really. But
Such an ass.
But it's
no,
it's the
something
same
happens,
thing.
The show's over.
Right, like every time they're like, we're doing an experiment here, and what we're going to do is we're going to see if there's aliens or if it's demonic possession, and we got our multimeter tied into the ground to tell us. And then then they're like, oh, all of the equipment just suddenly died, and
Yeah.
But I like it. I hope there's a season 4.
So
we've only offended half the people in the chat. Go ahead, Kevin. I'll offend the other half when you're done.
There's the guy who's a scientist. I don't remember his name. Right, he has all these credentials, and he was being interviewed by Rick and Bubba. I don't know who they are, but it popped up on YouTube the other day. I watched it.
I'm watching it now.
After seeing that, you're like, oh my god, I want to see this, because he said so many amazing things that made you want to go again. So
right.
And he said, when we're done here, this is like a couple weeks ago when he did his video. He goes, we're heading out to go season 4.
Good.
There you go.
Good.
Well, if there's a Rick and his brother Rick and Bubba on there, I'm watching it.
Chuck, we got
Jim?
to go. I got to wrap, brother. I got work call coming up.
Well, we can shut it down. So I'll see you later.
Well,
son.
I guess you can. I'm afraid to leave Chuck unsupervised.
Work call.
I do
Oh
have a
man,
work
I'm not the
call.
one you
No,
need to worry
not
about.
Really work call. Well, and I don't want to leave Ape unsupervised.
They got no controls tonight. None. I can't.
Well,
help.
I hope you're not busy next week, Kevin. We got to come back on and finish talking Skinwalker Ranch now. Plasma's right. I was watching Ancient Aliens the other day, and I'm like, that's that SOB from Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, he's on 2 shows, huh?
He is. And then I watched a different show, and he was on that one too. So I'm like, this guy is on too many shows. I don't like him.
Hey, Ape, I hear Sunday mornings are free now that Coffee and Ham Radios isn't on Sunday mornings anymore.
Yeah,
Maybe you and Kevin should start a show.
I have the Ape Rant,
Aliens
the
and
Ape
HF.
Rant live
HF and
alien
aliens.
chat show. Guys, thank you very much. Kevin, we appreciate
Thanks.
you coming on.
I'm going to
thanks,
tune
Thanks for
in.
having me. It's been fun.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll get invited back. You've represented well as a guest. I do
Wow.
need you to
Thank you.
interrupt more and be louder.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do that in the beginning. You were having so much fun.
It's hard to, Kevin, here.
Guys, thank y'all.
Next
See ya.
time.